Lift your tongue to the roof of your mouth. Rest it on your palate, not touching your teeth, but sitting behind the little ridge there. And you found your Nabho Mudra or Jihva Bandha. In the West, we call the practice myofunctional therapy, popular in circles that treat TMJ. A Sanskrit verse explains Nabho Mudra as follows. The yogi who stays constant in all aspects at all times controls the breath by placing the frontal part of tongue on the palate inside the mouth. It puts an immediate stop to all mental turmoil. All the diseases of the yogi are destroyed by the practice of this mudra. My own story around this practice began over 5 years ago, and I actually posted something on it in 2021 on our website under Jihva Bandha Myofunctional Therapy. There's many names for it. So when I began, I pulled my palate raw more than once and had to take breaks. This is not recommended. Finding out, well, I always knew that. I was very determined. So, because I knew. So from my practice, I noticed how tense my throat was, especially awkward posture, and to stretch the arms forward and maintain those triceps contraction revealed to me how tight the front of my throat was. And I was shocked, and I wanted it to end. So I started doing this. And then it came across my path, the advantages of a cleaner jawline, and that as we age, that piece between the chin and the throat tends to go droopy while we're letting our tongue hang down. So we pick the tongue up, and it has cosmetic benefits. So that was, well, remains highly motivating. Okay, so you got to figure out what motivates you. And of course, we all do the yoga because we want to feel good, but also we want to be fit. We want to look as good as we feel, right? So, okay, tying into, it's not just the tongue, but the signals on the palate. There's channels connected to energy centers all over the body. The yogis have different names for, and it's like buttons, and we're resting our tongue on these buttons to activate these channels. We generate heat, fire, pitta, when we practice, and this balances and cools the mind with all the energy that we're generating. So our hatha practice is designed to prepare us to meditate. This off the mat, this tongue lock, when we're not using the tongue to eat or to speak, there's scientific evidence and very real evidence when you apply it, and you'll notice immediately when you start to do it. I think my experience, when you put the tongue there, your mind, the erraticism in the mind, there's an observation that happens. So there's a way to think of it. The mind is the sky, the palate, and thoughts that come and go are like the clouds. And you're connecting to your observational state. You're bringing awareness to these things so that you can navigate accordingly. Okay, so I'm going to read you a bit from this website, which I will put link with this on our website for you to look up more, but it's super, super cool. Nabho Mudra, in very mechanistic terms, acts by virtue of the anatomical proximity of the root of the tongue to the carotid sinuses in the neck, and through access to the parasympathetic nervous system through the nerve supplying the tongue. The pull at the root of the tongue acts by applying a subtle drag on these sinuses in the neck, causing them to react as though they have detected high blood pressure, with the result that the heartbeat and the blood pressure decrease. This leads to relief in stress response and overall physical mental relaxation. These carotid sinuses, as well as the sinus nerves, were well known in ancient times. This website continues to explain more of the medical and yogi benefit with quite a bit of jargon there. But I wanted the motivation to really share this with our hatha yogis is I've experienced great benefit with it, and I've taken my time in really sharing about it to get to a point where I feel more comfortable with my experience around it. And one of the things that I noticed along the way of applying it and having it become a space from where I function is that when you're building the muscle memory, I noticed like, why am I, I'm obsessing about this thing. And I realized that when I was really thinking about doing it was when I didn't really need to be thinking about doing other things. Doing the dishes, or I'm in the shower, or driving in the car, listening to music, listening to a friend speak, holding space for people I care about. Is the wandering mind, there's no need for that. So using it as a tool has really been a blessing. It's exceptionally telling on mental state and emotional state. When you have a baseline of the tongue lock and an irritation comes along, then you have something, you have a connection with yourself underneath that irritation to go back to. You have a real knowing that inner space, and can go back to regulating your breathing, regulating your heart rate, so that you can respond from a place of awareness rather than emotional story. So I really wish everybody all the happiness, and feel it's my responsibility to share these things with our hatha community. And there's more coming, as you can see, episode 1. lots to ponder on. How this applies in particular to awkward, we'll be posting on that, because that posture has and this technique has really highlighted the need for it. So I'll do a full body example and talk on that soon.